and peace, everyone. I am so delighted to be with you again. We are streaming live. We're streaming live to my YouTube page and my two Facebook pages. The public Facebook page is Adrian Height Ministries. Let me tell you, I have been excited all day long because here we go again. We are in position tonight for part two of dating and relationships. It is backed by popular demand. The first one was fire, and it was very enlightening. You can check out my Facebook page. You can check out the YouTube page if you missed the first one because it was just unbelievable. And tonight is going to continue that same real and relevant conversation. We're going to go even deeper and we're going to be talking about why don't men commit. We're going to be talking about what is the purpose of dating, what are your deal breakers, and how to survive a bad breakup, and so much more. I hope you're ready. If you are ready tonight, I want you to type, I am ready. Can you put that in the comment section? We are streaming. I need to hear you. I need for you to talk back tonight and be engaged. I welcome each and every one of you. I see pastors that are on here tonight. God bless you. I see elders that are on here, elders from my church. God bless you. To everyone that is watching, I welcome you and I ask that you be engaged. Your comments are going to be displayed on screen during the talk show, and I'm telling you, I can't wait to get into it. Let me introduce our guest tonight. The first guest is Pastor Curtis Matizik. He is a member at Greater New Zion Church of Christ, which is in Laurelton, New York. In May of 2011, he was ordained an elder and appointed pastor of administration under the pastorate of Bishop Johnny Stewart. And then he was at Christ Church for 7 years under the leadership of the late Bishop Joseph Williams. And he is an anointed psalmist that I can personally testify to. And he has obtained his Bachelor of Arts degree in psychology from Touro University. And one thing I know, I don't even need to read his bio to tell you, he is a worshiper and he is a preacher and he desires to live a life that is pleasing unto the Lord. Can we welcome Pastor Curtis Matizik?
Bless you. Bless
Bless
you.
you. Bless you, Pastor. It's wonderful to have you.
Good to be here.
Yes. And then the next guest panelist is Minister Stanley Smith, who has served at Christ Church International, also under the late Bishop Joseph Williams, for 33 years. He's a preacher, he is a teacher, he is a prophetic voice for this time and generation, and he has a heart for the people of God. He's happily married to Dominique Smith, and he has a little son named Kyrie. Can we welcome Minister Smith?
Bless you. Bless you. Thank
Bless
you.
you.
Thank
Great
you.
to have you, Minister Smith, back again for part two.
Absolutely.
And then we also have Janae Gibson, who is single. She's saved. She's a very positive and upbeat, sophisticated woman of God. And her life is just one of prayer, commitment, and dedication to excellence. She now serves at Transformation Church, which is located in Queens, New York. And she is an administrative assistant and a worship leader. And she desires to manifest the kingdom of God as an advocate for his people. Can we welcome our sister, Janae Gibson?
Hi, everyone. God bless you.
There she is. Welcome, sis. God bless you.
Hi, God bless you.
All right, y'all. So we're about to get into it. I need everybody to be engaged tonight. There's already a lot of people that are on here. I want you to share it out. Come on here, share out the broadcast. We want to reach as many people as possible. God bless you. Welcome to everybody. I see you coming in. I see the people that are online on my personal page, that are on the ministry page, that are on the YouTube. Yes, welcome to all the pastors that are on here tonight. But let's jump in. Are we ready? All right. The first question I want to ask is, what is the purpose of dating and why should you date? And I want to start with Pastor McKissick.
All right. That's a good question. Good, very good question. Um, Sadly, a lot of us don't know that answer. But first part is what's the purpose of dating, which is getting to know an individual, getting to know that person, what they like, what they don't like. Are they fit for you? Or is this someone you want to be with in the future? Is this the one, is this the person you want to marry? Or is this the person you want to leave behind?
Right. Mhm.
Because everyone is not for you. So that's the purpose of dating, to find out, is this person for me? Is this person fit? Um, so that's why you should date, to get information,
Mhm.
get all the information you can get during that dating phase, so that you can help build yourself to say, is this person going to meet me in the future, or I'm going to leave them in the past?
Okay, that's good. Minister Stanley.
It's a lot of what Pastor Matizik said, but if I can add to it, it's a time where you try to figure out if this person is compatible, if this person is a great fit for me, and
Mhm.
and if so, why? Not just I'm not just looking at the fact that you're pretty, because you could be pretty and crazy, you could be
Yeah.
handsome and crazy, you could be anointed and crazy,
Yeah.
you know. And I think that the dating phase is the most important phase when it comes to meeting someone, because it's in this stage that you get to know a person. But it's more so important because um, and this is for people who are mature, because it helps you see what a person is not saying as well. It helps you
Mm.
notice
Yes.
the red flags. It's important, especially for those mature individuals. When it comes to dating, you know what to look out for. You know what to expect. You know what you are looking for. You have your list or whatever you want to call it. And
Yes.
if a person is not meeting these expectations, then obviously they're not who um, they're not somebody you want to continue to pursue. So I think the purpose of dating is to help, um, let's just say, uh, to help narrow things down, you
Mhm.
know, and to get that person, not even to get, to make sure that the person you dating is the real them,
That's good.
and that's the real. I think that's the real purpose, just to make sure you dating the real, for an example, the real Smith or the real Matizik or the real Janae. It's to make sure that you are dating, or you are engaging in the real.
The real. Yes. Not what we pretend, not the facade, not what we want it to be. Janae, talk to us.
All right. I do have to agree with what's already been said. Um, and definitely it is a time to, gather information, because you never want the cart before the horse, because the end goal, which, people should be doing, in a mature age, is the end goal is to be married. So that is definitely the time where you want to gather that information, know that person. I agree with Minister Stanley, get the real of that person, even though there is a flip side to that, because a lot of times dating, some people do put up the facade for a very long time. But
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
pretty sure that's a conversation that we'll get into later. But definitely the purpose of dating is to definitely get to know the person, gather your information, because the end goal should be to be married. We shouldn't be dating just simultaneously, just doing it just because we're bored, or we don't, or we have the time to. There should be an end goal at the end of that.
But that leads me into my next question. So many people just engage in recreational dating. I mean, they're dating just because somebody's cute. They're dating somebody just because they're lonely. They're dating somebody because they got a nice body. So, what are your thoughts on that? Let's start with Janae. What are your thoughts on that recreational dating? Does it even have a place?
Um, I mean, I just think a lot of people do it because they're really not comfortable with themselves, being by themselves. learning more about themselves. What do they like? What do they dislike? Knowing them as a person a little bit deeper than what the outer appearance is. So I think because as a human being, we really don't take the time to do that much often. We're so used to, because we're made for relationships. That's what we have friends, we have significant others and family. Like, we're used to that. So a lot of people date because they don't want to be lonely, because they feel like, okay, everybody else is doing it. When is going to be my time? When am I going to walk down the aisle? Or when I'm going to have the little cutesy stuff on social media, because we know social media is a big thing now.
It
I
is.
feel like everybody do things just so they can post on social media. So that forces people to want to put up that facade and want to do what everyone else is doing. You know what I'm saying? Instead of taking that time to be by themselves and be comfortable with themselves and single and whole within themselves. Because if they were comfortable with themselves, they wouldn't do the recreational dating. They wouldn't do it because they're lonely, or they wouldn't do it because they think someone's cute. At a certain age, you shouldn't be dating for looks. That comes with maturity. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's why.
I think that what you said was so powerful, that one of the main reasons why people engage in recreational dating is because we don't want to be by ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
That is an issue. It's an issue across the board. Talk to us, Minister Stanley.
Well, and I have to agree with Janae. I think that people do recreational dating because truth of the matter is it don't place um, a responsibility, or it don't place accountability, or it don't really place a demand. That's what I'm looking for on commitment. Recreational dating simply says that I can date you, but also date other people. Because it's not really placing a demand on anything. I'm only dating you because of what I see, because of what I like, not based on what I know. You know what I'm saying? Not based on what I know is good for me, not based on what I know what would be beneficial to my future, or not based on the fact that I know that you are a great asset to me. I'm only dating you based on uh, my now, what you could do for me now, what's pleasing me now. And I think that that's where this now generation is, um because it's easier to do recreational dating than to do something that's more committed, because there's accountability, there's communication, there's so much that goes in with that. And a lot of people don't want that. A lot of people don't want that. They just want, as my late bishop would say, these microwave dishes. These things that
Yeah.
they could throw in the microwave and it'd be ready in seconds. Because they don't want anything that's going to take time, that they have to put in the oven, because it takes patience. And
Yes, it does.
and the truth of the matter is, recreational dating don't really deal with the inside. It just deals with everything that comes on the outside. So you get the outward appearance and everything in recreational dating, because for most men, and I don't want to jump too ahead. The truth of the matter is, most men could date you and not really love you, or be with you and not really care about you. They only with you for a purpose.
That's right.
That's
Make it
it.
plain.
They only with you for a purpose. Maybe because you're pretty, you have a nice body. How Bishop used to say it. Hips, lips,
Lips
fingertips,
to the fingertips.
all of
Yes.
that stuff. All of that stuff. So, you know,
Mhm.
recreational dating is probably more um demanding now than it have ever been. Because like I said, it places no emphasis on commitment. So that means that I could date Mary, Susan, Rosemary, and everybody else.
Mhm.
Because it really doesn't. Because now, when you say, if you see me with another female, I can say, "Well, I never told you I was my girl. You was my girlfriend." You know what I'm saying? Because
That's
it's
right.
just like Baskin Robbins. They want so many different flavors, because not one person, according to them, can do it all. I'm gonna just stop there. I'm done.
You just said a whole lot, and I especially like what you said about it being, this is just like my now. This is my
Hmm.
now, and that's it. And that's all. There's no future planning, no commitment, no nothing. Talk to us, Pastor Matizik.
I'm stuck on that just because aspect. Because I'm thinking my mind is racing, but we can get lost in that just because
Hmm.
I'm reminded of um, not saying that the Saints do this, but individuals um, drinks getting spiked. Saints don't drink, right?
Hmm.
Um, and I know, and or even we talk about recreational because we know smoking weed is recreational. Um, Someone's weed being spiked or laced, is as they used to call it. I don't know what they call it today, but what happened to that individual? I know this individual. She was a beautiful individual, uh, loved by so many. Her weed got laced, and she was never the same.
Mm.
Turned her whole personality into a whole different other person, and now whenever you see her lost. You see her not knowing what day it is. Just gone. And I think we have to be careful in that recreational period or recreational dating because we can get lost in who we are and lost in the purpose of God for our lives because we're being recreational. We picking up all these soul ties. We picking up all these different individuals, spirits, and now here we are messed up. We're messed up because we done. Now we're collecting baggage. Erica Badu said, "Let it go, let it go." Bag lady, let it go. Yeah, yeah,
Well,
I know little secular songs, but but we have to be careful that we don't pick up baggage while we're in this dating period. But yeah, we got to be careful. Just because can be dangerous for you as an individual, for the other person, even for the other person as an individual, because especially for those who aren't being honest with the individual, and here they are, they're thinking that like Stanley said, here they are thinking they're the only one, and you out there with Keisha, with Felicia, with Josephine, with all these other females.
Right.
And now that creates a problem, and now that's killing their self-esteem. So when you're dating, you're not just dating for yourself, you're dating for the other individual as well.
You said something that's very powerful about picking up soul ties. And I think in this season that we are in, you need some serious discernment when you're dating.
Absolutely.
You really need to be prayerful. You really need God to say, Lord, reveal give me the real deal. Who is this person that I am dating? Because what you just said, it happens all the time, and you can get caught out there. And I do think are people ever going to stop with recreational dating? Of course not. But at least be honest. Be honest about where you are. Be honest about where you are in your dating process and what you desire. Don't lie, don't fake it, don't make it up so that you can, have some sort of relationship with somebody and you're misleading them. Go ahead, Minister Smith.
I think that, you just said something to be honest, be honest, be honest. I think that part of the reason why people don't like being honest is because they're afraid that they may not attract what they're looking for, you know? So it's almost like if, we have this image of what we want in our heads or what we think we want. And now when we meet someone, if we, because I talk to people periodically, just all the time, and they talk to me about different relationships. And I had someone say to me, well, I'm afraid to tell this person this about me, because it's something that I'm not comfortable with. It's something that I don't like sharing with people because it's a part of my past. I know I could correct it. I need time to correct it, but and I said to them, I said, listen, um, if only you be honest, you will find that maybe, and I told them, maybe this person is feeling the same exact way. Maybe they have something that they are not being honest about, or they don't
Mm.
want to talk about because they are afraid of how you may respond to it. And I told him, I said, the truth of the matter is, how do you know a person may be for you? One of the you know plus signs is if you tell them something about you and they turn back something that you think that is the worst thing ever about yourself, and they look at you and say, you know what, it's okay, I will help you get through that. I will help you, I will walk you through it. I know people that can help you, put you in the right places. You know what I'm saying? So it's imperative that, we are honest with ourselves, but sometimes we are afraid to be honest based on how we believe a person would receive us, because we just think that if we are honest, we may not get exactly what we're looking for, because what the other person may be. mm, because what it is the other person may have a certain expectation of who they think we are. And
Yes,
now, because this person think that we here, if they know this, then now that drops their expectation. And now I lose out on this person that I believe or think that I like.
okay, that's very powerful. Did you want to say something, Pastor Matilda?
Yes, yes, yes. Because I think I have to address this as well. We're in a season of, or era now, of the pronouns. Y'all hear what I'm saying? I gotta address it. We got the she, we got the he, they, z, x, ver, t, a. So in your dating, you have to make sure you're not getting them,
Mm-hmm.
you know, or z. Come on, let's be real. This, we're in a season of a pronoun. So whatever they feel like they are today, you know, tomorrow they might be an A. You don't know. So when you're in your dating, you have to make sure you're dating the she or the he that you want, and not the them. So
Absolutely.
I needed to address it. I'm sorry.
No, that is so true. You have to have discernment. You have to have open and honest conversations and ask people questions point blank. I mean, just ask it. Don't act like, oh no, I can't ask that. No, if this is now second date, third date, whatever,
Right.
it's time. It's time to have that conversation so that you're not wondering or just assuming. Now, I want us to talk about deal breakers and what are your deal breakers. All right. Talk to me, Janae. What do you consider to be your deal breakers and should we have them?
Mhm. One of my deal breakers is inconsistency. I feel that if you are trying to date someone, you're trying to get to know someone, um, there should be you should be consistent with that person, because it takes a while to really get to know somebody. So you can't say that you're interested in someone and you don't do the calling or the texting or the actual dating and the outings. You speak on Tuesday in March and then you're calling me Tuesday in June.
And they
You know what
ghosted
I'm
you.
saying?
Yes, they disappear.
You know what I'm saying? Because
Mhm.
that doesn't, help the situation when you're trying to really get to know me. Because in my personal opinion, I feel like men are when they want something, they go after it. They don't waste any time. They put the effort into it. So when they're really interested in you, they don't mind doing the chasing because it's not for the woman to chase the man. You know what I'm saying? I shouldn't be calling you, seeing where you're at. Men like the chase. You know what I'm saying? So if you're not putting in the time and the effort to actually take me out, give me the cute flowers, or ask me about my day or anything like that, that is a sure deal breaker for me, because you can't say you're interested and then we're talking one day and then you go missing and you come back like it's nothing. And then sometimes they come back like it's nothing, like, hey, what's up? How you doing? And it's like no apologies, no hey, I'm doing this, doing that, just nothing. Just come back like
like nothing happened.
Never happened. And I think everybody should have some type of deal breakers because it kind of creates your standards as well. You know, the things that you're looking for in the person, the things that you like, the things that you dislike, you know what I'm saying? And it doesn't leave room for people to walk all over you while you're dating or get tied up and wrapped up in something that you shouldn't be getting tied and wrapped up in. When you have your deal breakers, it sets a certain standard. So that way, when people try to approach you, listen, this is what I like, and you don't, you know, hit those points. Not saying everybody's perfect, everybody has flaws, but I just feel like, you know, especially nowadays, people or men or even women, people don't even do the bare minimum anymore. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if it's the times that we're in. I don't know if it's the generation. I don't know if it's the social media. I don't know. But people really don't try to do the bare minimum. I just
bare minimum.
Call me, and you can't do that. I just ask that you just see if I'm okay for the day, and you can't do that. You know, nobody really wants to put in the effort. You know, I had an experience where a guy actually told me he didn't want to date me because I was too smart for him.
All right.
I knew too much, and basically he couldn't get over on me because I knew too much. I knew too much about how men move.
Good for you.
And I was just like, well, you know, I had to respect it. And I said, okay, thanks for your honesty. But I was sitting there like, wow, like people don't like smart women these days, or, you know what I'm saying? You want, so I don't know, things is just, it's just different. But, you know, deal breakers, I feel like are a must because it does create that standard. Well, creating your standards in dating.
Janae, I could literally stay on this topic with you just on what you said about the inconsistency and the bare minimum. That is something that we hear all the time, and the ghosting. And I agree 100%. I mean, if a brother is interested, he's gonna do what he has to do. He's gonna put in the effort, and you're not gonna have to beg. And what I love about what you said is that you did not dumb down who you are in order to be with somebody. Come on here. Don't dumb down. Do not dumb down. Somebody put that in the chat. Do not dumb down yourself. You want to be with somebody who elevates you. Come on, somebody right? Elevate. Put that in the chat. Elevate. You want somebody who's going to elevate, who wants to go higher with you and be better. Minister Stanley.
I would say a great deal breaker is communication, because you should never leave me in a place of assuming, especially if you say that you're interested. I should never have to worry about, let's just say, you disappearing. I speak to you at 8 o'clock in the morning. Next time I hear from you is 12 o'clock at night. And, you know, within that time period, there was no type of communication, you know, from 8 o'clock to 12 midnight. And, you know, because the truth of the matter is, for me, that's a great deal breaker, because if you can't, and it goes back to what Janae is saying, be consistent with communication, then you can't be consistent with commitment. Because in order to be committed, you have to communicate and be consistent. So communication for me is a huge one, because and a lot of times, you know, it serves as a red flag as well, because obviously if you can't communicate to me, you know, let's say throughout the day, then who are you talking to? What are you doing? Because obviously something else has your time, something that you deem a bit more important than who you claim you're interested in. So obviously it's not me. Yes. So for me, I can't deal with a person that can't communicate consistently. Thank you, Janae. You know, because it, like I said, it will lead to different issues and different problems early. And I get aggravated too well. And I'll say this, my wife knows this all too well. You know, we communicate everything, you know, when she get to work, I'm always on it. and then the one time I forget to do it, it's just like Werewolf 3, like because I forget to tell her, hey, I made it to work on time. You know what I'm saying? But I say that to say that's how serious we are with communication, because I need to know what's going on. Even if it's the smallest thing, I need to know what's going. Especially if you say that you are interested in me. You should be able to. I'm not gonna say talk to me about everything, but there's some things you should just be able to talk to me about. If you have a bad day at work, you should be able to talk to me. Let's just. You can't come to me 12 o'clock at night and say, "Oh, I had a bad day. I didn't want to talk to nobody." That doesn't work. Then
Right.
you're not ready for relationships.
That's
Then you're
right.
not ready for a relationship. You're not ready. If you can sit here and tell me you went MIA for the whole day because something happened and turned you up and killed your mood, because truth of the matter is, I should be that one person you should be able to turn to and say, listen, I had a bad day, but just hearing your voice or just talking to you, I just feel, peace, or whatever it may take. So, communication is the key. Communication is the way to go. Without that, you cannot build a commitment. It doesn't make
Right.
sense.
Right. I love what you just said, that, I should be that person that you
Hmm.
wanted to reach out to, that you wanted to talk to, not that you isolated yourself from me. Talk to us, Pastor Matizik.
Yes. What Janae and Minister Stanley said, those are on my list. I've been told that I was picky. Hmm, but
You are.
I call it sure of what I want.
You're Vicky.
I call it
Not
sure
that
of
there's
what I
anything
want.
wrong with that. Mhm.
But I think one of my I'm just going to name one of my deal breakers is dishonesty and deception. All of that wrapped in dishonesty and deception. One thing I hate is a lying spirit.
Yes.
It bothers me, and I just it's like I have this a discernment for a lying spirit when I just know when people lying, like please, and I just keep the same straight face, like okay, just keep on lying. I already know you're lying, but yeah, but having deal breakers and is necessary. Janae hit on the word, which is standards. It means you have standards, and it puts you in a place of security of knowing what you're looking for.
Yes.
Because if you don't have these deal breakers, you can just go for anything.
Right.
You can just pick up anything, and it also shows that you are secure in who you are, and you sure about where you want your future to go, or where you want your present and your future. We always talk about future, but we need to work on our present and our future. But it puts you in a place of security and help you to not be manipulated and all those other types of things. So you need deal breakers. You definitely need deal breakers.
Absolutely. If you don't, there'll be absolutely no boundaries on the relationship. Now, I want to ask this question. Have you ever settled in a relationship? Why do we settle? And how do you avoid settling? All right, we going in tonight. We getting personal. I want to start with Minister Smith. Come on here, talk to me. Have you ever settled in a relationship?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And truth of the matter is, I settled. Watch this. I knew that what I was in wasn't good for me, but the situation that I was in was good to me. If
Oh
if
yes.
you understand, you
Yes,
know what I'm
sir.
saying. So
Mhm.
I basically settled based on what I was getting out of it. Although I knew the person wasn't good for me, you
Mhm.
know. And sometimes us as people are willing to put up with so much because of what we can get, what we are receiving out of the situation, whether it's sexual, whether it's monetary gifts, whether it's materialistic gifts, whatever it is. And the truth of the matter is, and I have to be honest, I settled because of the situation that I was in, because it was just good to my flesh. And, and the truth of the matter is, and we have to be honest sometimes, you know, even though sin is sin, some sin was good to us.
Right.
That's why we were doing it.
That's
So,
right.
honestly, during that time, I knew that the relationship that I was in, it wasn't good for me. I knew that this person didn't share um, 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 where I was going. They had no intention on um, uh, 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 going where I was trying to go, trying to get there. Their lifestyle was totally the opposite of mine. But
Hmm.
me on the inside and me on the outside, I didn't care because again, it was good to my flesh.
Yes.
So I put up with the yelling, the screaming, the cursing, the partying, and all that good stuff because at the end of the day,
Hmm.
this is good to me. I'm not gonna get this nowhere else.
Hmm.
I'm enjoying this right here. This sin right here, I don't want to give up because watch this. If I give this up, even though it's causing me so much aggravation and frustration, if I give this up, then watch this, then I'm not going to be able to get this over here. This
Right.
over here always outweighed the foolishness and everything else that I was putting up with. When the truth of the matter is, I should have been did this and left out the door. But because of what I was receiving, it had me stuck. It had me bound. It had me in prison for so long, mentally and emotionally. That soul tide was dangerous. It was
Dangerous.
dangerous because it almost caused me to even, oh my, compromise my very anointing. Because I kept saying to God, God, I mean, can't you clean this up right here? Can't you turn this around and place her feet on solid ground and make her make her
Right.
clean again? But
Yeah.
the truth of the matter is, you know, I had to realize that it wasn't, it just wasn't good for me. It wasn't good for me, and I was settling, and I was compromising who I was as a
Yeah.
man, as an anointed man of God. You know, I was compromising who I was, um, and for me, uh, although and Jesus, here's the battle for real. Although I knew I had an anointing on my life,
Hmm.
although I knew the hand of God was on my life, although I knew I was called to preach and do all of that great stuff, it still didn't matter.
Right.
For me, I felt like I needed to settle in that moment. You know, I I was in a place to where I felt like I wasn't ready to give it up. I was just waiting for the aha moment for God to just turn that person's life around. And it's crazy how we think this way, but it's so true. You know, but then I had to realize after a while, oh God, you're not changing this life, so gotta bounce.
Hmm.
But I came to the realization that what I was in wasn't, even though it was good to me, it wasn't good for me, and I had to just walk away from it.
Yes. What you said was so powerful, especially about those soul ties. But I want to continue on, and I want to hear Janae talk to us about that, about settling in a relationship.
Um, I definitely did settle in a relationship. I think at the time, I was still fairly young, and I think I was in the moment of I didn't want to be lonely. All my little friends had their little, situations, and I wanted to be a part. So I did settle. And this particular person put me through a lot. Not
Hmm.
only that, he was much older than me. I found out later on in a relationship because I found out he was a liar.
There it
um,
is. Hmm.
he lied about his age when we first met, and then the truth came out later on.
Yep.
So, I was much younger and I did settle because I didn't, I was immature at the time. My thinking wasn't as mature as it is now. And I just wanted to keep it because of, everything that was going on around me, and I thought it was the right thing to do, and I thought that I loved him, and I thought that I cared about him, and like Minister Stanley was saying, like, your flesh, you was happy with, your flesh was happy as what was going on. I thought like, oh, okay, he'll get a little bit better and he'll
Yeah.
change. And my mom once told me that you can't change no man. So if he's already this way, nine times out of 10, that's how he's gonna stay. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I definitely, did settle and was put through a lot, a lot of things emotionally, and a lot of things, mentally. And I really believe, and I tell, people about the situation to this day. I'm like, I really believe that the enemy handpicked him and sent him my way personally, just for the things that was done to me during that time of being in that situation, because it did break me a little bit, in my emotions and spiritually and mentally. You know what I'm saying? But I thank God, because I learned from the situation. I was able to move on from the situation, and now I can notice the red flags. I can notice the lookalikes, But at the time, I just wanted to be there because that is something that in my mind at the time I thought I should do. And why at the age of 20, 21, fresh out of college, having aspirations of wanting to do certain things, why did I feel like I needed to stay in something? Because that is something that I should do. You know what I'm saying? So it just goes back with the, the mentality of where you are in your life. Sometimes where you are mentally, you feel like that's what you deserve, or that's what you should be in, or that's what you think you should go through for the sake of love. And I feel like no one should ever settle. If this is not what's right for you, then don't do it. You know what I'm saying? Get out of it as soon as possible, but you also have to change your mindset, because if you think on a certain level, that's what you feel like your relationship should be.
Okay, that is so true what you just said, especially about our feelings. Our feelings, Minister Stanley had mentioned, you mentioned it. Feelings are so powerful. When you feel you're in love, oh my goodness, and they got your nose wide open, you will cast everything to the side. Your calling, your anointing, everything. It's like nothing else matters. Nothing else takes priority. And we will hold on with desperation to something that might be killing us. And we won't let it go, because there's something on the inside of us that it could be the soul ties, it could be low self-esteem, it could be a desperation on our own part, not wanting to be alone. Pastor Matizik, talk to us
Yeah,
about it.
we touched on a lot of stuff. Some people, I can't say that I've been in a settling relationship, but I know I can speak on experience of others that have shared with me or I've observed. But some people, they settle out of fear. Some people settle because they're in denial of what's really going on. So they they deny. They know the person's a liar. Like Janae said, is they just I'm just gonna stay in this relationship because she loves me or he loves me. But you know,
You want to believe
um, some people are in depression. You know, they're going through a depression, so they just settling. They're insecure who they are. They don't know who they are. They're insecure, so they just I'm gonna stay right here. So, but we have to learn that we have to love ourself self first. We have to
that.
love ourselves enough to not settle. Build up yourself. I used to tell the singles, build up yourself. You know, um, as you as a single individual in Christ, build up who you are. Feed your mind, feed your mindset, so that when it's time for you to get into a relationship, or when it's time for you to get married, you're secure. So you're not insecure of what the other person is doing or what other people are trying to do. You're secure. But yeah, people are in denial. That's one of the big reasons why people they don't want to be alone. You
Yeah.
know, uh, and I just gotta be with somebody. Sometimes you need to be alone, but figure out who
Sometimes
you
you
are.
do.
You're alone to figure out who you are, to figure out what you really want. And sometimes when you're with individuals who aren't pushing you in the right direction, you're stifling your growth. You're stifling your progress in life.
You are.
You know, we always bring up Boaz. we wanna we want the Boaz. You can't get your Boaz stifled. You can't get there staying in the past, right? You
Right.
have to push forward to your future. So yeah, that's just about it.
Okay, so let me ask this question. We've been talking about deal breakers, we've been talking about settling in a relationship, but I believe everybody that's on here tonight, myself included, we have all been through a bad breakup. Can I get an amen? Can somebody say amen that you have been through a bad breakup? You might be going through a bad breakup. Probably everybody that's on this line. There's a whole lot of people on this line. And while I'm taking a little pause, I need everybody to share and like the broadcast. But let me tell you something right here. Everybody on here has been through a bad breakup at some point or another. So I want the panelists to talk about, how did you heal? How did you recover from it? And it's all right to admit if you're still in your healing process. It's okay. Janae.
Lots of prayer.
Hands being laid, everything.
Lots and lots of prayer,
Mm,
getting closer to God, because during my bad breakup, which was hurtful, um, I had to pray. I had to get in my word. I had to, go through that healing process. To be honest, without God, I wouldn't have made it through that process. You know what I'm
wow.
saying? And that's just being truthful. Nothing else was able to help me through that process. I couldn't party it out. I couldn't hang it out. I couldn't do all those things, because the only thing it would have done was just suppress the feelings. And it took some time, you know what I'm saying? But I definitely had to, get in my word. I definitely had to pray, and I definitely needed time by myself. I know a lot of people, they go through bad breakup and they jump right into a new one a month later.
Mm-hmm.
Um, or you know what I'm saying? Or they I had to be alone. I needed the time to stay to myself and really, really work on Janae. That's what I had to do, and really go through the healing process, accept the feelings that came with it. Because sometimes we go through healing, we try to go through the healing process, but we don't like to experience the emotions that come with it. If I felt sad and I wanted to cry about it, I cried. If I felt angry and I wanted to be angry at the moment, I was angry. I had to let myself feel the emotions and go through it in order to properly heal myself. And once again, I'm telling y'all, if I didn't pray, thank God for the household that I lived in. Thank God for the parents
Yeah.
that mirrored the prayer life in front of me, because that's all I knew. At the end of the day, that's all I knew. And I had to get in my prayer closet. I had to get in my word. I had to get closer to God, because that's the only way that I was going to get through that hurt and that pain. I didn't want to be the bitter one. I didn't want to walk through life and have the unforgiveness, because the forgiveness is never for the other person. It's always for you on the inside. You're personal, because you can go on being mad and people's going to go on and live their lives. You know what I'm saying? And this particular
That's
person,
true.
that's exactly what he did. He went on and lived his life with Mary, Jay, and Susan, and I done heard he done got married about 3 times already, and he done
He moved on.
he
Right.
moved on.
He moved on.
And I wasn't gonna sit around and let that get the best of me. So that's definitely how I got through my bad breakup.
Oh my goodness. There was something that you said that made me feel like jumping out of my seat and running around my office when you talked about, if it had not been for the Lord, if it had not been for God,
Yes.
that you wouldn't have been able to make it. And think about it. Think about how many people and how many of us on this line that are on this live tonight that can relate, that instead of, if they maybe they weren't saved, or instead of having something that pushed them into the face of God, into prayer, and into having a better relationship with the Lord. So many of us have turned to drinking. So many of us have just ran and got into another relationship, didn't take no time to heal, didn't take no time for any kind of introspection or anything, so that we can learn from what we just went through. Because if you're already damaged, you can't just run into the next relationship and think that you're going to be whole. Talk to us, Minister Stanley.
Aye, aye, aye. Well, for me, it took a while for me to get over a breakup that I experienced, or my breakup that I experienced in life. And honestly, it took about 6 to 8 months. And here's what I had to deal with, because, you know, we keeping it real. So, anytime we step out of the will of God, and we step into, let's just say, a relationship, and now fornication is involved, it makes it much harder. It's
Mm-hmm.
more complicated, because once the breakup is done, a part of that person is still left in you. That soul tie is real. And I had to make sure now that I didn't slip in a place of depression, because me, I'm a thinker. So I try to think everything through. I try to analyze everything, observe everything mentally. So my battle was more mental than anything.
Mm-hmm.
If I got control over this right here, I knew that I would be okay. My mind would say, what is this person is doing? What is this person is doing? My mind would go back to the times we slept together. My mind would go back to the times we hung out. I had to gain control over my mind. And that's why it took so long for me to really get over it. Because although I was wounded, I knew that if I could just get this under control,
Mm-hmm.
everything else would be okay. So for me, I'm gonna say, for me, 75% of my battle was mental.
Mm.
75 of it was mental. So I had to literally, as Janae said, I literally had to take time to allow God to heal me mentally.
Yes.
Because watch this, we hear these voices in our head, and it out of the blue, on a Friday night when you could have been with your ex, now you sitting home doing nothing. And it's watch this, and my mind kept saying, I don't want nobody else.
Mm-hmm.
Why? My flesh kept saying, I don't want anybody else, because I was led to believe that nobody else would be good for me. Right now, I want what I had. Right
Yeah.
now, if my phone was to ring, I will go running back, because that person was good
Yes.
for me. It was,
That's
it
real
was,
talk.
it was just, it's just for me that there was the medication that I needed, and they were keeping me going. And now that I don't have them, who wakes up in the morning and say I'm breaking up? Nobody. I didn't see this coming. I didn't know it was coming. So truth of the matter is, I had no time to plan for it.
Mm-hmm.
And anytime we are faced with the unknown, or a situation that just dropped on our lap, we freak out at first,
Mm-hmm.
because honestly speaking, it's something that we wasn't expecting, but now we have to deal with. And it literally took me 6 to 8 months to get over it. Um, I had to literally ask God. I promise you, I was in church crying out at that altar for my mind, because I knew for a fact, for me, if the enemy just in general gets here, it's over for me. And I had to understand that my mind is where it all starts. So I had to literally take out time to ask God to renew my mind. God, heal
Mm-hmm.
my mind. God, help silence these voices, silence this feeling that makes me feel like I need to be over there with her. Help me now, because I need your help. Because if you don't help me, I'm gonna lose it all. I'm gonna lose myself. I don't feel like myself. I'm listening to these love songs. I had to turn the music off for a while, because I'm sitting in, listening to these songs, reminding me of her. Every time I hear something, it reminded me of her. I had to silence everything around me, because everything was holding me back and keeping me in that place of from being healed. And I know I needed to be healed in order to move forward.
Mm-hmm.
And You know, honestly, after a while, months later, little bit by little, I was getting it. Once I got this all together, everything else was fine.
Mhm.
Everything else was okay. Because see, when we indulge in fornication, the enemy makes you feel like you need that person all the time, 24/7, 7 days a week, honestly. So
Right.
now when you don't have what you want, you now trying to figure out how you can get what you want. You see what I'm saying? In order to pacify that feeling. So it's crazy because you're dealing with, or I was dealing with, I must say, so many different feelings and emotions all at once. And I knew that I had to ask God to break that soul tie. God, and it was the most hardest thing because the moment I asked God to break that soul tie, it's like started seeing pictures and started seeing this person everywhere. And it's like, whoa, before I even asked this, I ain't seen you for a while. But now that I asked God to break this soul tie, I'm seeing you popping up here, seeing this here, hearing songs that reminded me. It was one of the most hardest things or hardest places that I was in at that time, and that's how I knew that it was that my healing was taking place. Because here I am asking God to help me with this thing and break this soul tie and help me mentally, and all of a sudden here comes this female popping up everywhere,
Hmm.
because it tried to take me back because the enemy wanted to keep me right there in the place of trying to be depressed and all of that good stuff. But with the help of the Holy Ghost and crying out, and I literally mean I cried out, and there were times I stayed on that altar until I had no strength. I didn't care because I knew that I needed that in order for me to survive. I knew that I needed that in order for me to keep going, and be emotionally healed
That's
and
right.
mentally healed.
That's right.
Emotionally and mentally healed. I needed that because I was wounded bad.
Yes, and I appreciate what the two of you have said so far because you shared your vulnerabilities and you were vulnerable and transparent before God. God already knows what we're going through. And so many times, instead of us being open and honest and feeling the emotion and allowing ourselves to go through that process and feel the emotion, we try to push it down and bury it. But the two of you, two important keys, and I want everybody to make sure you grab this. You didn't pretend, you didn't try and fake it, but you cried out to God and you were proactive about it. You weren't trying to, no pride. Mm-mm, no pride. Like you cried out to God, did whatever you had to do. Two things: break soul ties and ask God to renew your mind. That is so powerful. Pastor
Mhm.
Matizzi.
Yes, everything that has been said has just been awesome. Um, and real, and just I would just want to piggyback on some of the stuff that was said. We have to realize that sometimes it's going to take months, it's going to take years, because especially if you were in a relationship for a lengthy time, just as you got that person in your system,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's going to take just that long to get that individual out of your system.
Come on here,
So
Pastor.
so it's a process. It's going to be a process of healing, a process of deliverance, a process of renewing your mind. Can I use a church term? Renew your mind.
It's the truth.
Because you have to change your thinking, got to change, and also realizing that there are more fish in the sea, and knowing that this individual, there was a reason why you broke up. Bishop,
That's good.
the late Bishop Williams used to say, God never wastes an experience. So you've experienced this. Now, what am I going to do with my experience? What have I learned from this bad relationship? What have I learned? What am I? What have I learned that I'm not going to take into my next relationship?
Good.
Because sometimes we have to realize that sometimes the breakup, because it was obviously it was necessary. It was necessary for your learning, necessary for your growth, necessary for your maturity. your maturation, and to help you, like I've been saying, to push you towards to your future. So yeah, it's, we have to understand, and I'm going to use this curse word. Sometimes we need therapy. In the church, we scared of that word in the
Say
church.
that.
It's a curse word. Yeah, we don't all we need to do is pray. Oh, you gotta just go to prayer, and God gonna answer. Go and get on your knees, go to the altar, and blah blah blah. There are so many people that have went to the altar
Mm-hmm.
and got a touch, got a fell to the ground, rolling around, the sheet on, whatever it is, and got up and still dealing with that same stuff when they got home.
Yes.
Because we have to understand that we have to learn how to talk out our frustrations. We need somebody to talk to. We need to air it out, get it off of our chest, get it out of our system. And you can't do that with holding it in. You need an individual, and sadly, I'm not going to go there. You need an individual that you can release to and help you go through the hurt, help you go through the pain, help you go through the agony of what you just, the trauma.
You're talking right.
There are so many traumatized folk in the church, and we don't even realize we're dealing with trauma. We are, and we are a church filled with post-traumatic stress, dealing with all of this stuff, and we're not healed.
That's right.
We're broken, we're not healed, and we're wondering why. And it's not because God ain't moving. It's not because God's presence don't work. It's not because God's presence isn't real, but it's because we have to talk to someone who knows how to bring you or pull you out. We need a Moses. We need a draw out individual to help us draw out what's all that stuff that's on the inside of us, to get us out of our bondage. So when we're all right, this ain't a preach.
No, Pastor, that was phenomenal what you just said about that therapy, and we need somebody to draw it out.
To help
us talk. So many of us are still holding in so many things that haven't happened 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, and we never released. We never talked. We never processed it and really talked about how devastated we were. We never talked about how traumatized we were, and we hold on to it. And I remember Janae talked about that baggage. We hold on. It doesn't go away. It doesn't just go away by itself. It doesn't go away just because you shouted in church, just because you danced to it and you spoke in tongues to it. It doesn't necessarily just go away so easily, or even because somebody lay hands on you. This thing is a process. I need somebody to put it in the chat. This is a process.
Yes.
It is a process. Come on, everybody, blow it up. We got a whole lot of people on here tonight. Somebody type in the chat. It is a process. Don't you know that your healing, it has been a process? And I bet you there's a lot of people on here tonight. We're still in our process, but God is good and God is faithful, and he is bringing us to a place of healing. And I believe that tonight that this platform is helping us to discuss so many things that we don't even talk about in the church. We don't talk about the need for therapy, the need to sit down with someone and have a conversation with somebody who's trained. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Somebody who's a trained professional, not just your homegirl, a trained professional. I can't get no help up in here tonight.
Yes.
It's true.
It makes a difference talking to a trained professional. You get yourself a good Christian counselor that will sit there and help you to work through your emotions, work through where you are, and get you to a better place. My God. We all need that. We all need, Pastor Pastor Matilda talked about, you got to have somebody to talk to. You can't just hold on to things and think, oh, okay, I'm going to move on to this next relationship. Now I'm happy, or you want somebody to make you happy, keep you happy. It doesn't work like that. Can't be in a relationship and be like, oh, okay, now I'm in this relationship. He got to keep me happy. It does not work like that. But I can stay on that subject all night. Part 3, don't worry, we'll talk some more about that bad breakup, because I feel the anointing of God just talking about that. Now, this question is directed to the men. Why won't men commit? Talk, Minister Stanley. Not all men, but some.
I'm gonna talk about from my experience in my previous life. Um, Part of the reason why I didn't want to commit, was because um, I knew for a fact that there were so many different women out there that I can possibly talk to, and talking to one would tie me down and would not allow me to experience others. And that's something that I wanted. I didn't want to be in a relationship, but so I didn't want to commit. I wanted to be able to talk to and date many different people, go out on dates, go out to the movies and have fun, because in that time, or at that time, just dating one person was boring. It was
Okay.
simply boring. I'm being honest. For me, because it's eh, if I can describe it, it was more of I can say that it was more being greedy, because for me, not one person was able to give me exactly what I wanted or was looking for, So I was being greedy. So I felt like committing to me was the worst thing I could possibly do, because I'm hindering me from possibly finding what I may want or may like.
Okay.
That's just how I was thinking in that time. And then also, um, commitment placed a demand on me to be accountable. I didn't want to be accountable. Commitment placed the demand on me to be responsible. I didn't want to be responsible. I didn't want any of that stuff. I just wanted what I wanted. So pretty much, most men don't commit because some of them are selfish. And for me, I was selfish. I was looking at it from the selfish lens. It was all about me. I didn't care about the other person. Didn't care about the other person' feelings like that. I really didn't. I wanted what I wanted, because I knew that in my mind, we because of mm, ah because of past relationships and how I was hurt. I'm like, nah, y'all won't get me again. Y'all got me 2 times. Y'all won't get me a third time. No, not a third time. And that's how I was thinking. I'm like, it's not going down. I was actually, I was looking at it from the lens of being selfish and the lens of not being healed.
Okay.
So I was wounded, but putting band-aids on things that required stitches, and you know putting gauze on stuff that taken time to heal. I was wounded really bad, and and I really haven't I really didn't take out the time to heal. So I would go from one to the next, and not wanting to commit, because I just felt like y'all hurt me already, and I can't go through this again. When the truth of the matter is, I should have taken the time to, get healed and all of that. But who have time for that? This is my mindset. Who have time for that? I'm
Right.
I'm I'm in my early 20s. So who have time for that? I'm enjoying life. I should be enjoying life. I'm not thinking about marriage. I'm not thinking about, looking for the right one now. And I have a whole bunch of time. And that's another
Yes.
thing. We people think that we have so much time. And me, I was looking out of it from that lens as well. I have plenty of time to find the right one. I'm already in my 20s. What I need to find the right one now for? I'm not settling down for what? Be stuck with one woman for the rest of my life? Not me, not happening. And
Mhm.
that was my mindset, which is why I didn't commit at the time, because I was selfish. I was still wounded, and and I just felt like it just wasn't time for me to do that. I just wanted to have fun. It was a place of immaturity.
Yes, 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 yes. I love the transparency and how you talked about being greedy, being selfish. I want to ask you a question though. Were you honest with the people that you were dating to at
Oh,
least tell them where you were at
I'm
that
gonna be
time?
honest to you. I'm gonna be honest to you. And my wife and I, we talk about this from time to time. And I say to her, I used to tell everybody I didn't want no relationship. I didn't want no relationship. I was straight up honest with folk. I did not want a
At least you were
relationship
honest. Okay.
because I don't got time. I didn't want a relationship, but it still never turned out that way. But
Hmm.
I didn't want one. I was honest.
Okay, at least you are honest about where you were. But what you said was very powerful and insightful. Pastor Matizik.
Stanley said a mouthful of stuff.
Mhm.
I want to add to it uh, fear, not having the right examples or grown up in seeing the example of commitment in our households. Like we don't see there's a great deal of people who've never seen what it looks like to be a man, to be a husband, to be uh you know a god-fearing man at that, you know. But there's so many reasons. um he hit on which was selfishness. Selfish because we want to be with whoever we want to be with. We want to run around,
Hmm.
so we don't make the commitment. I'm saying we as general because I don't want to, want nobody thinking I'm talking about them. But that's how we as men are. Like we just I'm just not going to do it. So and some people just don't know how to do it. They
Right.
simply just don't know how. Like, how am I going to do it? So, so I think it's the process of letting go of your insecurities, learning who you are, and I think that's how you get to a point of learning how to commit. But like Stanley said a mouthful. He said everything that I was going to say.
But Pastor Matizik, let me ask you a question as a man. How did
Yep.
you learn how to respect a woman and treat a woman right? How did you learn how to honor a woman?
Well, I had good examples as Bishop Randolph, the late Bishop Randolph, you know, Bishop Williams example, So I've seen these examples, and plus, um, I had a God conscious heart,
Okay.
so even with uh the dating aspect, I'm just not going to just date just to be, the recreational dating. I didn't just want anybody, and I understood, and I was focused as well. I was very focused uh
Hmm.
in my salvation and getting myself together. And I feel like you really shouldn't be dating if you don't have it all together yourself. Because what you're doing is you're bringing complication into that relationship, and you're bringing confusion as well because you're all over the place, and here you are trying to date somebody, and you're definitely not going to make the commitment because you don't know how to make the commitment.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah.
Okay, now let me ask this next question. Did you ever feel that you were wasting time in a relationship? Everybody that's on here tonight has, at one point or another, been in a relationship where you just said, you know what? I'm wasting my time in this relationship. How did you know that you were at that point? And what are some of the signs that someone can know this relationship is a waste of my time? Janae.
Um, I guess when you realize it, I guess you'll see the signs once you I guess, grow and mature in yourself, and you realize that this person is not who I want to be with, because our feelings, what we want in life, changes. We grow as people, we change, our mentality changes. So when you get to that point in a relationship where you realize that you're growing, but their significant other or whoever you're in a relationship is not growing with you, it does become a waste of time. Because if I'm elevating and I'm, and you're not doing the same, um, if I change as a person, I worked on my character flaws, and you're not working on your character flaws,
Mhm.
you're the same person that you were, a few months ago or a year ago. That's when you realize that, you know what, I'm wasting my time. Because if this is someone that, I want to commit to, and vice versa, or we in this relationship and we're trying to move forward, there should be a change for the better. So when you get to that point, when you realize that I'm going somewhere, I'm moving forward, and this person is not, or you realize that this person is just simply not for you. That
Right.
happens too. Sometimes when you're in a relationship, you're dating someone, you soon realize that, what, it was fun in the beginning, but as time is going on, I'm realizing that you're just not for me. And I've wasted 6 months. I've wasted a year.
Mhm.
Maybe I've seen it. I've seen the red flags. Maybe I've seen it and I just wanted to ignore it. But, sometimes, you become uncomfortable in that process, realizing that, okay, I'm going left, you're going right. We're not seeing eye to eye.
Right.
I've asked you multiple times to change this about yourself, and you're still doing the same thing. That is a waste of time. So I just think that when you're moving forward and the person is moving backwards, you guys are not seeing eye to eye, and you
Yeah.
realize that this is just not for me anymore, because our interests change, our taste buds change, we change over time. And sometimes we realize that, okay, you were cool in the beginning because this is what I wanted at the time, but I want
Mhm.
something better. I want something different. I want something a little bit mature. I realized back then I dated you because when we first got together, you were cute, but I realized that you are a cute mess. And
Yes.
I no longer want to deal with it.
I love what you said about coming to the realization that this person is not for me, admitting it, and having the guts to move on. Talk to us, Minister Smith.
I think it's simple and it can be summarized just by a few words, and simply by stating that you should never be where you started 6 months or a year from when you started. So, in other words, if we started dating January 1st, June 1st, we shouldn't be in the same place. We should be elevating, every few months, every few
I
weeks.
like
We
that.
should never be stuck in the same place. Anytime you see yourself stuck in the same place, complaining about the same things, you feel like you're not moving nowhere. Obviously, it's time to let it go, because this person is wasting your time, and you're wasting your time by saying to yourself, um, maybe I'll give them a chance. Maybe I'll they come to the realization that I like them. Because a lot of times we do that. We give people one too many chances, because we as people try to see the good in others. We try to look past where they are and pull out something that we can run with. And I know I have done that plenty of times. I looked past where this person was, where they were in the present time, and I looked at where they could go, or the potential that rested in them. But then I had to realize it's not up to me to pull that potential out. Because the truth of the matter is, as a man, the Bible says that he that findeth a wife. The truth of the matter is, you don't become a wife at the date or the time of your wedding. You are that before. So when
Mhm.
I meet you, you should already have the characteristics as a
Mhm.
wife. You should already be presenting yourself as a wife. This is not the time to sit here and try to become he that
Yeah.
findeth the wife. So I found you already. I'm not meeting you. I didn't meet you in your becoming stage. I found you because you was already made whole. Nothing missing, nothing broken, nothing out of place. Which means now us together can become one when that time comes. So if you still in your becoming stage, then you wasting my time.
That is so powerful right there. All right, Pastor Matizik.
I'm reminded of the scripture that is found in Amos 3:3. Um, and the question is asked, how can two walk together except they agreed? And are we in agreement with our future, with our now? And everybody said what I would have said, because if we're not going anywhere, we're not if there's no agreement, if we're not going anywhere, we're going in circles, we're going in cycles. Yeah, what's it? Jonathan McReynolds got that song, Cycles. You know, what are we doing? We're wasting time.
Yes.
So I guess when you learn that, when you figure out and you come to your eyes open, when you woke,
That's
you
it.
find out, you're wasting time now. Like you've been in this relationship all this time, you just really, and your eyes are open now. Oh, I've been wasting my time all these months, all these years, wasting time. But the Amplifier said, "Do two men walk together unless they have made an appointment?" you know, um, have is there is are we at the appointed time? Are we in an appointed place? Have we made this appointment to go further in our life, or are we going in two different directions?
Right.
That unequally yoked thing we talked about. I believe we talked about that last time. Being unequally yoked. So that's we have to understand. Are we unequally yoked? Are we just going with the motions?
Okay.
Bored in this relationship.
Right. I think what you just said, and I know Minister Stanley touched on it too, about not being stuck.
Yeah.
And that is so key when he mentioned about, 6 months, there should be growth, there should be change. We shouldn't be in the same place, talking about the same thing, talking about the same mess, the same argument. Something should have changed by now. There should have been some sort of growth, some sort of development. And if you don't see that, and if you're not able to remedy that, you need to start asking yourself, is this the relationship for me? And when he talked about giving somebody one too many chances, we have all done that, where we make excuses and we keep holding on to it. Now, this will probably be the last question that I ask. I want to ask, how can singles foster a strong relationship in marriage? You're single right now, but if you desire to one day be married, what can you do to prepare for marriage, to one day be married? Janae.
Oh man, that question.
For those that desire to be married.
Yes. For those that desire to be married, especially, for the women, definitely just piggybacking off what was said earlier about having the characteristics already of a wife. I think definitely working on that would help you foster and, get ready to be married, because you can't wait to develop those characteristics or those things when you say I do. You know what I'm saying? That should already be formed and ready, so that way you and your husband can successfully become one. Just working on those characteristics, learning even the simple things, learning how to cook,
I was waiting on that. I was waiting on that.
How to, keep your house clean. I know when I was growing up, oh my God, that's one thing that my parents instilled in me. Clean, make sure your house is clean. You can't have company, you don't clean. Make sure clean, make sure the bathroom is clean. And I used to be like, oh my gosh, how much cleaning am I gonna do?
Come
But
on here, Janae.
it helped
Mhm.
me. You know what I'm saying? Because now I love a clean home. You can't stop me from cleaning, making sure things are put together, making sure things are in order. You know what I'm saying? For the young ladies, learning how to be, a lady in public. You know what I'm saying? While
You're
you're
talking
out
right.
in every man's face. You know what I'm saying? Learning how to, bring it back a bit. When you're at the
Mhm.
dinner table, you don't gotta laugh on the top of your lungs, like when you're out in public,
Yes,
just
these
little
things are important.
things that we especially we as women need to learn. I understand a lot of things are changing. I remember I seen a meme a while ago, and it was asking women, like, do women still serve their men or their husbands food on a paper plate or on a glass plate? You know what I'm saying? And just to see the comments, people were like, he gonna get what he gonna get, like, you know what I'm saying? We got plastic plate, paper plate, pot, it doesn't matter. But these are things that we have to recognize and deal with, because we shouldn't be serving him just any old anything. If that's supposed to be our husband, the man of the house, the head of the house, it's just simple things that nobody really takes this time to really instill in young women. You know what I'm saying? When I was growing up, we had the mothers in the church, we had the older women, we had the, that will really take the time to sit down and really instill these things in us. These days, this generation, I feel bad for them, because where are the older ones? Where are the women that have the wisdom to sit young ladies down and be
Yes,
like, listen, bring the skirt down a little bit, boo boo. You stop getting all these men faces. Like, you know what I'm saying? We don't have those things anymore.
right.
It's just so sad. Nobody is really teaching anyone the characteristics of being a wife, being a homemaid, learning how to
Yes.
submit to your husband, the man of the household. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? Learning how to cover your family and your husband in prayer. These are the simple things that we need to instill within ourselves. And I just hope that prayerfully that women would stand up and take the time to really instill these things in our young women, because they lack it. They don't have it anymore. They
It's true.
it in this generation, and it's sad. And same thing for the woman, same thing for the men. It seems like a lot of things is not being instilled in them on how to lead properly and how to cover your home, cover your children. You know what I'm saying? Lead so that the woman can submit. They just want to give women directives and say, no, you're gonna listen to me, you're gonna do what I say. And it's like, no, that's not how these things work. We just need people to really raise up, to really teach our younger generation how to prepare, and actually, when you get married, to stay in the marriage, work on the marriage. If
Right.
you're tired of me, then that's fine. You go to sleep and sleep on it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Not get tired of me and cheat on me, or get tired of me
Right.
to leave. You
Yes.
know what I'm saying? Learning how to
Yes.
stay and work, because I'm not
Work
married, but
it
I
out.
hear these things. Marriage is work. That's all I ever hear. You know what I'm saying? And you got to
Yeah.
get your hands dirty, and you got to work, and you got to work to keep it. You know what I'm saying?
Get your
So,
hands dirty. Mm.
you know, if I do get married,
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying? One thing that I'm definitely going to do is learn how to work in my marriage, because what I keep hearing is that marriage is work. And that's also something that people have to tell those that want to be married. Like, hey, yeah, it's cute. The wedding's cute. Everybody's there. It's glamorous. It's a good time. But, when everybody goes home and it's just you and your husband, or you and your wife, you actually have to work. You actually have to get your hands dirty. You actually got to learn how to communicate, how to live with someone else, how to deal with their flaws, how to deal with the simple fact that, I don't know, he likes to leave his socks everywhere, whatever, whatever
Mhm.
it is.
Say that. Come on.
Learning how to
It's
deal with.
work.
All right, I'm done, y'all. That's
I
it.
love it. No, no, no. I could stay all night on this subject, because what you hit on is, it's so lacking with a lot of young people. Don't get that training. They don't get that home training about cooking and cleaning. It's not going, you're not going to be in the bed 24/7. Come on here, somebody. And it's
Mhm.
about having life skills, and you must have discipline in your life.
Mhm.
Pastor Mitzizik.
Yes. Everything she said, just we're done. We're finished.
Everything.
We're finished. but
Everything she said. But I
but
want to call Minister Stanley too.
yeah.
But
But we have to, again, going back to building up of oneself, and we have to understand that everybody does not have the gift of singleness. Everybody does not have that gift. Some people need to be married.
Mhm.
But become the partner that you're looking for. Become what you're looking for. If you're looking for someone that's going to take care of home, it shouldn't be just one sided. They're doing all the work. So understand every marriage. We understand that every marriage is different. So um, it really starts when you find the person that you know that this is what you want to be. This is the one you want to be with. Then you begin to learn each other and have conversations of what marriage looks like to you.
Mhm.
You know, I don't know if we do that. What is your idea of marriage? I think some of us just date, then we say we're exclusive, then oh, we married now. We gonna get married. We don't. I don't think we follow the proper steps in dating. Is that's what I'm saying? We don't follow the proper steps. We just jump from we're dating. Oh no, we get married next week. Without going through the process of getting to know each other and building up. We're in an information age. There's so much information on marriage,
Yes.
even being single. There's so much information out there on how to be single, how to be married, what does marriage look like. So feed yourself with the right information, you know, godly information
Yes.
as well. Because there's, not to say that some secular information isn't good, because it is, as long as it lines with the word of God. Um, but feed yourself, feed that information. But everything Janae said
Yeah. Oh
was
yeah. Janae said she said a lot, and as I said, I could stay on that for at least another 20 minutes, half hour, just talking about life skills. But Minister Stanley.
Just from personal experience, TD Jake said something that I thought was very profound. He said, "You can never become what you don't see. The more you see it, the more you become it." So, as a single man, I had to begin to start acting like a husband, start acting like a father. Even though I was a father already, but these are the things I had to carry myself this way. I had to treat Dominique. Um, she was who I was dating at the time, like the wife that I knew she was, the person that I knew she was for me. It was imperative that she saw this quality of me way before. So I knew I had to begin to be this man that I know that I could be.
Right.
I knew I had the potential in me to be a great husband. I knew I had the potential in me to be a great father. Now it's time to put this forward. The Bible says faith without work is dead. So I had to put the work in there. I had to become what I saw for myself. I just had to work at it, being a hard working man, going to work every day, making money, paying the bills, treating her right, dating her, doing all of these things that I know men should do, And Bishop Williams told me something that I took to heart. He said, "If you ever one of the greatest things you can ever do for your kids' mothers is treat the mother right." So me being a man, I knew one of the things that I had to do was make sure that I treated my wife right, when we had kids, in front of my kids, so that my now son could see that daddy treats mommy right, daddy loves mommy, daddy cares for mommy. These are the things that he had. I had to do. I had to start working on me, because I was out in the world doing so much,
Mm.
and I had to allow myself to detach from all of that learned behavior, because a lot of the things that I learned was learned behavior, you know. So I had to detach myself from all of that, and I had to become whole all over again in order to be the man that my wife needed me to be. And, you know, and not just for me, but for my future family, because, you know, late Bishop Williams, I take this to heart. I live by this. And he says to build something that will outlast you. So that didn't start. It didn't start when I started my family. That started the minute I said to myself, I had to become the man that I know should be, the man of God, the man to my wife, the man to my children. That's the man that I want to be, the man that I know that can provide, the man that I know that could protect, the man that I know that can preserve, and to pray over his family and do all that he needs to do. You
That's
know,
right.
that's who I know that I needed to be. So that's what I had to start shaping and forming into. And that didn't start when I said I do at the altar. That started way before. I had to start that process way before. Because
Mhm.
now when I said I do, all I'm doing now is continuing what I was already doing prior to me saying I do. That's all I'm doing now. So now my wife don't have any issues. Now my kids don't have any issues because she's not watching me trying to become, because I'm already is. I'm that person now, you know. So it's imperative for men that are in their single stage to understand that if they want to become that great husband, that great father, they have to start now. It's not at the altar. It's not when you meet that female. No, it starts now. Being
Now,
consistent, you know,
now,
in your personal life, being consistent in your prayer life, being consistent, you know, if you are consistent within your relationship with God, then you will always be consistent with your relationship with other people. Well, you should. Let me say that.
right.
Let me say that you should. You
Hmm.
know, so it starts now. It starts now for men to prepare themselves to be that man that you know that you could be to that female, because I'm sure every man sits down and they think about the type of family they want, the type of life that they want, you know. And it's not that you can't have it. It's just that you have to start now. It all starts with what you're doing now, how you building yourself up mentally, spiritually. You know, all of these things matter, and for me it mattered the most. So that, you know, finally when I said I my goal was to be whole by the time I said I do. I could not step into, it's impossible to become one if I had something missing, something broken, or something out of place. We talk about becoming one, but the truth of the matter is we really, in order for us to become one, both parties have to first be whole, because it's impossible for one person to be missing something or something to be broken or out of place, but yet they're trying to now become one. It won't work. So I
Yes.
understood that as a man, I had to be made whole first in order for me to be the wife. I mean, I'm sorry. In order for me to be the husband, the father,
I
the
got you.
husband that
I
I
got
needed to be.
you. I got you. I mean, Minister Smith, this was phenomenal. I need everybody that's on here tonight. We got a lot of people on here. Thank you for staying with this dynamic and intriguing conversation. I want everybody to type, it starts now. It starts now. Whatever it is you're looking to be, prepare for, if you're preparing for marriage, and even if you don't want to get married, guess what? Whatever it is that you want, I'm sure you have goals. It starts now. Don't wait until the new year. No, it starts now. It starts tonight, where you change your mindset and you say, "All right, God, I'm going to get in alignment to have whatever it is, if whether it be marriage or not." There's people on here that I'm sure don't want ever to get married. And that's all right. Or maybe you've been married and don't want to remarry. It's okay. But it starts now. Oh, I feel that in my spirit. Somebody type it. I see y'all typing it. It starts now. Whatever it is you want to be, you got to start preparing for it. Come on here. Those of you that are called to ministry, you called to ministry, you might be called to marriage, you might be called to being single, you might be called to be a CEO, an entrepreneur, whatever it may be. My God, it starts now. It starts now with preparing. It starts now with having the right mindset, the right discipline, and habits. Minister Stanley talked about that, having the right habits. Come on, do you have the right habits? Think about it, because you got to have the right habits. And when Minister Stanley started talking about having those right habits and those right disciplines, he didn't stop that when he got married. Oh, that's the key right there. He didn't change. He didn't switch up. Now that he got married, now that they got to the altar and said, I do, he didn't switch up and stop. He continued with the momentum that he had built. Somebody say, I'm going to build momentum. I feel that tonight. I believe somebody's momentum is building right now. Come on, somebody type it. I have momentum. When you have momentum, it starts a flow. When you have momentum, you're not stuck any longer. When you have momentum, you're not standing still, staying in the same place. Come on. I feel that tonight somebody is getting a flow of momentum. You are getting your momentum back. You're getting your drive back. You're getting your focus and your commitment and your discipline back. Somebody type it. Yes, I have momentum. I see it. Blow it up in the feed. I have momentum. Momentum is key, because when you have momentum, you feel like you're going somewhere. Can I get an amen?
Right.
You feel like when you have momentum in your life, you feel like there's a flow. You feel like I got goals. I'm going to school. I'm becoming something. You're learning. You're growing. You're achieving. You don't feel like you're standing still. So God has never called us to be stuck, and He has never called us to just stand still. If you feel that you're stuck, you feel that you're standing still, take a look at your daily habits. Take a look at who you hang out with. Oh, that's a word right there for somebody. Take a look at who's in your inner circle. Take a look, because those are the things that are going to tell on you. But I believe tonight somebody got their momentum back, and I see it in the chat. I have momentum. That is the word of the Lord for tonight. Discipline and habits. Discipline and habits. Discipline and habits is what is going to build us up and give us the momentum that we need to get to where we need to go. And tonight, I want you to have momentum regardless of where you are in life, regardless of whether you want to get married, don't want to get married. Momentum is key. Now, can we blow up the chat tonight for all of these guest panelists? Weren't they amazing? They were absolutely amazing. Come on here. They were amazing. I'm going to ask the producer to put up the cash apps for me. They did an absolutely phenomenal job. And Minister Smith and Pastor Matizik, they have been on here before, and I welcome Janae. I thank her for having faith and stepping out, and that when I asked her, she gave a yes. Yay! Come on here. Somebody give her a hand clap, send up some hearts, send up some likes for everybody and for Janae. We want to have a part 3. This was just so phenomenal. So into their ministry, so into their lives. So there's a lot of people on here already. You know Minister Smith, you know Pastor Matizik, you know Janae, you know these people that are on here. Bless their lives. You see the cash app for Pastor Matizik is Curtis W. Matizik. Janae is Janae Gibson and the number 1. And Minister Stanley is Smitty 8680. Okay, the cash apps are at the bottom of the screen. Please sow into their lives. I am going to sow into their lives also as a thank you, because this has been productive, hasn't it? This has been great. And these are the types of conversations that the church needs to have. We need to have more conversations about dating and relationships. We need to have more conversations about trauma and about going to therapy. We need to have more conversations about soul ties. We can't shy away from these kinds of conversations. These are the conversations that are going to bring healing and growth to our church community. Amen. All right. So at this time, I'm going to allow you to have final words, if there's any announcements you want to make, any social media information that you want to give so that people can connect with you, where can they find you? Do you have any events that are coming up? And you just have final words, starting with Janae.
I just want to say thank you, Elder Adrian, for asking me to be a part. You know, you didn't have to. I really do appreciate you and love you. Thank you for this moment. I just want to say to my fellow panelists, you guys were amazing tonight. I enjoyed the wisdom and I enjoyed the honesty that came in this conversation. If anybody wants to follow me, I am on Facebook at Janae Chanel. Chanel is Shanelle. And as you can see, my first name, Janae, Janae, should be on the screen. If you want to follow me, I really do appreciate it. And I will definitely follow you back. But thanks again for tonight. It was phenomenal. I enjoyed it. I am excited for part 3, 4, 5. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This was great. This was great. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, Pastor Matizik.
Yes, this was awesome. I enjoyed everybody. The feedback, the advice was just wonderful. I'm on Facebook at Curtis McTizik. And that's about it. So I'm waiting for the next one. Can't wait for the next one.
Okay, and we will have a next one. And Minister Smith, talk to us.
Yes, Elder Adrian, thank you so much for this opportunity to share my little bit of experience based on my time here on Earth, just in general, as far as dating. I really appreciate it, and I enjoy just being able to talk about it and not feel ashamed. So thank you for allowing me to be transparent and open and honest about a lot of my experiences, because I do believe something Bishop used to always say: you can never teach and preach above your level of experience. And I just thank you for allowing us to get here and speak our experiences. I am on Facebook at Junior Smith. I am on Instagram at s_smith.junior. That page, I post more of my ministry stuff. So if you want to connect with me, you can connect with me there. And I'll leave you with this in Ecclesiastes, chapter 7. Better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof. So it may be rough now, but the ending, it's always better. I promise you, stick with the process. You may be lonely now, but better is the end of a thing. Better is the end of a thing. You are shifting into your better.
Amen. Thank you for that powerful, powerful word. You can find Adrian Height Ministries on Facebook. Please connect with me on my ministry page so that we can be connected. Also, I'm on IG at Adrian Height. Love to connect with you on social media. And somebody say next Thursday.
Next Thursday,
same time, same station. We will be back. Cutting Edge will be back on, and I have 3 powerful leaders that are coming on. I'm not gonna say it right now, but you'll see the flyer in a few days. Next Thursday at 7 p.m. Trust me, spread the word. It is gonna be great. You're gonna hear a fantastic impartation from some leaders, and I'm not going to spill it right now, but you'll see the flyer in a few days. But thank you all for being a part. Thank you all for your participation. God bless you, and we will see you next Thursday. Take care.
Bless you. Thank you.